much social media digital support as possible, from campaign strategists to AI strategists like Dr. Adams there posing as an aide to the Darren LaHood campaign. What are you prepared to do for freedom today? How are you going to make a change right now, Doe?
Oh boy.
Well, are you seriously running for Congress?
That's right. We're running for Congress, and today we have our first campaign signature vote gatherer to put together petitions and ballots so we can get in the March primary.
Which district are you?
16th Congressional District of Illinois. Rockford, Peoria, Bloomington, Normal, Illinois.
And I'm assuming GOP.
That's right. Abraham Lincoln's Liberty Party of Freedom for the African American people of the United States of America.
I mean, that's cool, yeah. I don't think Clubhouse is the most efficient way to do this, though.
Well, we're taking the message to the masses on X and YouTube right now. Some of the comments on YouTube for the day: why all the phones? Look, everyone, it's a homosexual. That was an actual comment today. That account's called Staying Off the Grid.
So I have a question for Ashley in the room. Have you seen the new Battlefield 6? It looks so good. Go watch the trailer on YouTube. Go watch the trailer for it on YouTube right now. Dude, it looks sick. I'm literally in the process of buying a PC this weekend just so I can get Battlefield 6 on them.
And then we're watching some Call of Duty Zombies together.
Yes, 100%. That's Warfare, obviously, but you gotta watch the trailer for Battlefield 6, Ashley. You're gonna stick yourself. That shit looks amazing.
Oh, I'm gonna go watch it right now.
Yeah, right now.
You know, Pockets, yesterday you thanked me for my service, and I said, don't thank me, thank all the dead soldiers who died in Iraq and Afghanistan to give you that liberty to get that video game and get that PC so you could make a salary from Medicare, Medicaid, so you could buy the latest technology out of South Korea and Taiwan and China. So all I'm asking to you, Pockets, is if you want to increase the economy, it's inversely related to cutting, borrowing, and spending. And therefore, you need to stop the spending, Pockets. We're in a state of austerity. This is Americans for Austerity. We've got a super PAC going, Pockets, called Americans for Austerity. Are you ready to donate to the super PAC today, or are you ready to donate to the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover? Thanks, Pockets.
I will when you get rid of that iPhone. 100%.
I'm gonna sign up for the free beta right now.
Yes, do it.
I'll stream it in the Discord, even though I'm not supporting chillism because Nathan's a liar.
I will be watching. It's literally going to ruin camping for all campers. That game, because you can literally blow up all buildings.
Also, if any of you know any great Discords from people here on Clown House, if you could put the antidote link in my profile, or I'll put it in the chat, or we can pin it to the room. But if you can spam chillism or with messaging on behalf of the campaign, do like John Kidder, I'd appreciate it. Or if we're going to do a Chatter rollout, if you don't have Chatter, download the app now. Live stream this room onto Chatter. Live stream this room onto X. Live stream this room onto YouTube. I do all the heavy lifting, but we need your digital media support more now than ever, unless you're willing to give $1 to $10, 10 not 11, 10 not 9 to the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover.
John, I have a question.
Oh my God.
John, get over it.
Keegan, your question cannot be related to any former day's drama or any type of information related to anybody from any former room. It has to be directly related to the campaign, policies, etc. Thank you, Keegan.
Okay.
Oh, Pockets, by the way, it's on Xbox as well. Or PlayStation.
Or Microsoft as well.
Yes. I'm glad I brought you to the smart side gaming. PC Master Race all the way. The only Master Race I believe in is PC.
Well, I was gonna get just like a gaming laptop. And I don't want to do like a whole setup. Sit in my room. I like a lot of space in my room. Like I would take up so much shit. So I was thinking about just getting a gaming laptop. Thinking about it. I'm gonna go stop.
I have one, and honestly, they're not as good. They're really not as good. Like if you get an actual desktop, it's a lot better, and you can hook it into your PC. Oh, I see. That's nice.
Yeah, and I know the graphics are obviously probably better on a PC with the storage or the gigabyte. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it.
Unless they've improved, the lag is pretty bad. Like
yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that even when you have fast aims, even on like a gaming laptop, that your aims are super slow. You can't fucking aim fast enough.
Oh yeah,
I'm happy to hear people older than me play video games. It's very fun to hear that.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
I'm 29. Relax.
Whoa. You're still older than me. John, my question for you is, do you support state funding to LGBTQ programs? This is before I can be publicly an advocate towards your campaign.
No, absolutely not. And, I also don't support local municipalities or counties giving millions of dollars to abortion care providers.
Harry.
So I hope I knocked out, 2 home runs for you there, Keegan. Any other questions you want to ask?
As of right now, no. As of right now, you have my full support.
See, it's wonderful when principles are aligned. So Keegan just let us know his particular position. See, what's unfortunate is sometimes the state and politicians will take your tax dollars, and then put it towards things that are against your moral compass. And that's not nice, and that's not fair. So if we just go with John Kitover, just take the funding and bring it back and put it in the hands, the direct agency of individuals, how can you fight with that? Your moral principles will stay intact, and you'll be able to wake up and live a great life every day.
Thank you for that, Bima. Okay, so we're going to transition this show, this morning retinue. We are apparently not repeating the same cycle as the past 3 to 4 days. The tornado has blown out of Oklahoma City, and it looks like we have clear skies in the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover. I'm looking at a beautiful blue sky right now at the beach with the Lady Hawk, and we have a surprise guest here on the Lady Hawk at Montrose Beach. Give it up for Hakima. Hakima, come on over here. I got the clubhouse room going. Where you at? Hakima, come on over. Put that margarita down. Come on over here, Hakima. Yes, I got an extra bathing suit for you, Hakima.
What happened?
I said the tornado blew through while you were sleeping, John.
Oh, that's good. I like to sleep during large storms. Let other people ride it out. I'm sleeping.
Oh, I'm a spectator. I love watching that chaos.
We need a topic.
Definitely need a new topic. Yes.
Can I ask some questions for John, actually? Can I ask some questions for John?
Yeah.
So, John, I'm looking at your website. So, what would you say you describe yourself as in terms of the current Republican Party, which I think it's bifurcating in certain senses. Not even bifurcating, there's 4 separate categories. But would you describe yourself as more aligned with Trump and MAGA? Is that how you'd identify?
Well, I do not identify fiscally or economically with the big, beautiful bill supporters. But I do support Trump's strength, his courage, his mercurial political, capabilities. He is, to me, an American hero. And, he resisted what I would consider like a deep state Democrat attack, which is contradictory, to essentially our good sensibilities, our American way of doing things, fair, truthfully, transparently. So, but to me, the biggest issue that I have with the Republicans having, trying to get into Congress now and working in trying to become a committee person, is it's definitely the debt, borrowing and spending, and especially the 100 trillion in unfunded liabilities. But the 37 trillion of funded liabilities and spending 2 trillion more a year that we don't collect if we're collecting 5 trillion. If the Republicans aren't actually trying to set up a way to permanently cut our spending and our borrowing by having a balanced budget in that amendment or act, we will just keep kicking the can down the road, and it doesn't matter who's in charge, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, because the debt is what's all important. But from a cultural perspective, the liberals and the Democrats and transgender mutilation and abortions and vaccines at large for a Wuhan virus made and funded by Dr. Fauci, we are living in clown world. And I got to say, if you want to continue living in clown world, that's up to you. But in the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover, we are letting all the constituents in the 16th district know that Darren LaHood is a rhino vaccinologist, super debt creator who poses as a Republican, but he's not a Republican. His daddy's a Democrat and he's a Democrat. And if you want to say the swamp or the deep state, he has a lot of seniority in Congress, and he supervises a lot of spending. And you can just do a comparison on Grok. If everybody here wants to do an exercise on how to determine how people vote, just ask Grok to do a comparison of Darren LaHood's open secrets and the HR acts and determine what percentage of his votes are attributable to his donors at Open Secrets. So we need you to take direct action today. And this is the hardest, most unbelievable thing is people will sit here and listen to me for hours, but like 1% of people will actually do any digital physical footprint, activity. So follow Darren LaHood on X right now. Follow John Kitover IL on X right now, and please help do some digital marketing operations for the campaign today. I hope that answers your question. Thanks, Doug.
Cool, yeah, that kind of gives more perspective. Just one more. Would you say you're more like economic protectionist in terms of like foreign economies? Like, are you in support of Trump's tariffs? I think the following election with the GOP will be interesting because there's still the economic protection side that's been, kind of originated with Trump. And I think J.D. Vance would probably be the type of person to carry that on in the GOP when 10 years ago this would not be the norm at all. So would you say that's what you align with, or you're more, you're not as strict on that?
It's a very simple answer. It's a variable solution or a smart contract. If it's smart to do it. If it's reciprocal and strategic to get new business markets open for U.S. corporations, we'll do it. But we don't want to get taken advantage of. And if we can't compete in their marketplace and they're dominating our marketplace, well, then maybe it makes sense to use some strategic, smart contracts to force an issue and come to some type of solution with, foreign governments and foreign manufacturers. I mean, that you do everything smartly and in a business way. Does that make sense?
I get it. So you're just more pragmatic about it? That's what I got from that, at least. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I don't know. I don't know who I do it for. I'm not even in your district, but this upcoming midterm should be interesting. So, yeah, I guess good luck to you.
It's so funny, Don. My dad and I were talking last night. I called him and I was like, dude, let's do a political ideology test together. And we're like literally almost 96% the same when it comes to like political ideology. But I asked him, one of the questions was, what is a good attribute that you want to have in a president? And my dad literally said, I want our president to be feared. He was like, I want people to be scared as fuck of our president. He's like, that's the type of president I want, is one that people fear. And so I thought that was interesting when you were saying, you like Trump's courage and his, boldness and, types of stuff. When, my father was just saying that he wants someone to be feared by their people. I thought that was amazing.
A little Machiavellian.
Big shout out to Mike as well. Thanks, Mike, for donating to the campaign to elect candidate Congressman Kitover. I know you and I have been talking on this app for many years now, and I've critiqued your public speaking. We've talked about communication, theory. I'm just wondering, Mike, why did you decide to give to the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover when you voted for Kamala Harris and J.D. Vance? How did I melt your heart, Mike?
Oh gosh, I like you on a personal level. I think that you're a good human. I think you're smart, and I don't necessarily have to agree with everything that you think that you believe. I don't have to agree with every platform that you support in order to want to see you succeed, and in order to believe that, generally speaking, we'd be better off if people like you were in charge rather than the host of people that we have currently. So, in short, I just don't need to fully agree with you on everything to want you to be successful. So, I donated to that for that reason. But in general, as for why I support you after I voted for Kamala, because I've remained open-minded about Trump, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I like your obsession with fiscal responsibility, which brings you in line with a lot of the way I am. I'm probably more Rhino for sure than MAGA, and I think that you kind of take the best of both sides of it in many respects. And I appreciate the fiscal responsibility and the focus on that. So that brings you more to the Rhino side for me, which.
Thanks. I think obsession with fiscal responsibility is what everybody does in their own personal life. And I hear that, I hear that sentiment in you and your life, and talking about taxation and income and mortgages and all these things with you over these years. So the way you live your life, the way I live my life, the way everybody here lives their life, fiscally responsible, trying to maximize their investment opportunities, save, protect your assets. That type of attitude is not the sentiment in the government. At $7 trillion a year and $5 trillion collected in taxes, it is spend, 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 and you can't spend enough. And it's utter madness. And the Republicans pulled a bait and switch with the big, beautiful bill. They're not fiscal conservatives, but that's the game in Washington, D.C. And that's what Darren LaHood has been doing for the past 10 years. And if the patriots of the 16th district can get this message and they can rise up, help me get signatures. This is the most amazing thing, is this is basically a parallel society here on Clown House, that we have raised money on this sentiment. Now we have to actually get people on the ground with the voter list and the addresses to knock on the doors, stand at grocery stores, go in the downtown areas of Peoria and Rockford, get the signatures. And we can get on this ballot. And there is a third Republican candidate now running, and there's also 3 more Democrats running. So the field of people running in the 16th district has tripled from where it was just a couple weeks ago. So more people are running in this race, and we'll see if they can get the signatures, to get on the ballot.
The big beautiful bill, I never spent a long time looking at it. That is the annual budget bill, right? That has to be passed for the government to continue running, or no?
I have no idea.
So I'm going to ask Grok, give us the top 10 line item expenditures in the big beautiful bill, and I will tell you shortly.
No one's going to say yes or no for me?
So no, Scarlett. So there's a different budget that happens after October 1st. It's basically there's an actual budget act that was put in place in 1974. So you can't do any budget cuts, anything related to the budget, until October 1st. So what you do is you implement all your raises first, like all the products, everything you're going to implement ahead of time in the Big Beautiful Bill, and then you do the budget cuts after the fact during the fall budget process. That's the only way to do it. The budget is done at a specific time of year, October 1st. That's the beginning of the fiscal year for Congress, and that's the only time that you can start that process of doing your budgeting for the year, doing your cuts, doing everything you're going to eliminate in the government wasn't cutting things and reducing the size of the budget. So that's why they didn't introduce.
I really have a follow-up question when you're done.
Okay. That's why they didn't introduce anything new budget cut-wise in the Big Beautiful Bill, because they can't do it. They're not legally allowed to do it by law.
Okay, did I not learn, like, I'm asking genuinely. I understood the executive branch is responsible for proposing a budget that the legislator tweaks and amends and does all kinds of stuff to. Is that wrong?
That I'm not entirely sure on. I think it's more the Congress that, the House and the Congress deal with that, and then they have to come to a consensus, and then of course the president has to agree or he won't sign it. But
I want to say I thought I remembered presidents in the past proposing budgets, so I'm going to look into that. Thank you, McNeely.
Like most of the stuff that's being cut, like Doge cut, all that, those were all executive offices that the president had actual direct control over to cut. These were all implemented by executive orders, etc.
I'm going to be honest, I should have paid attention in history club back in school. So.
I too am embarrassed that I don't know this. I think Civics 101 classes should be taught on Clubhouse because this is something I should know, and I'm sad that I don't know it, and that's going to get rectified today.
Your mom sounds like I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
So the only reason I even know anything about this is because it's been a constant hotbed topic of debate on a Discord server that I'm on that's a conservative Discord server. And so that's been the thing.
McNeely, can you share the link to is it open to the public, the Discord server, or no?
Yeah, it's the largest Discord server, conservative Discord server.
Is it called Politics?
No, it's called Conservative, our Conservative. It's
Can you drop a link for it for anyone interested?
Sure.
Right direction is what I'm trying to say. And
so it reminds
Go ahead.
I'm getting the bar too.
You're in the matrix again.
So you know when you go gambling? Yeah, I know. It's terrible. I'm driving. Is it any better now? The area that I'm in is a little friendlier. It's a courthouse. Yeah. So when you're at the casino and you put your $5 in and it says that you won $2, it just really means you've lost $3, but they're softening the blow of losing by allowing you to keep a little bit of your money. It's kind of how I feel a little bit about the Big Beautiful Bill, and I still think we're in a better position than we would be if Kamala was president.
There's no doubt about that, but I don't see how you could make an analogy with the casino. Casinos out to make money. We as citizens have a responsibility, I guess, to pay our taxes. And, that people rise up and don't want to pay taxes. Everybody's looking for loopholes. the rich in this country pay most of the taxes, no matter what they tell you, but there's never enough because they want to spend. You know, the system, we just heard somebody running for Congress, where is John who runs for Congress, the system is created for the person running for office to tell the people that they want their vote because they're going to give them something, and they need tax money to give them something. So you can't say, I'm taking away from you and expect to win an election. So whether they lie and say they're going to give them something, or they tell the truth and say that they're going to give them something, they're going to give them something. So, you know, this is the way politics is today. But you have to, and you know, it's very hard to analyze a big, beautiful budget because it is big. I don't think so beautiful, but it's big. There's some good features in it. And, you know, and I'm just talking because I look at certain things that affect me. And, you know, a lot of things don't affect me per se, you know, but so I look at what affects me and analyze whether it's big and beautiful. That's all I got to say.
I suppose that we can get the chat.
So, Jules, I actually think my gambling analogy is pretty good, considering what you just said.
Well, you know,
The house always wins, and we are definitely not the house.
well, not true. Not true. How do you determine what a winner is? Is it the tax you pay and what you get in return for the tax you pay? Is that a winner to you?
Depends on the game that you're playing.
Well, we're talking about, all right, well, I say that because half of Americans don't pay income taxes. So they get.
Well, let's get more specific. The bottom 50% of Americans, bottom 50% of income earners pay a total of 2.3% of all of the federal income taxes, where the top 50% pay 97.7% of all federal income taxes. I would say that we need to stop saying that that we need to tax the rich more, and we need to open up an honest dialogue about taxing the poor more.
We've gone through this before, and what I agree with you is that everybody should have some skin in the game, and that's why I agree with you. I think
I prefer having my skin in the game, for sure.
Right. So I think everybody should pay taxes, or maybe, you know, like you said, the bottom 50%, make it the bottom 10% should pay no taxes. You know.
What's the argument for paying no taxes?
You gotta live. You're gonna get.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? If you're putting in tax dollars and putting in a minimal amount and then taking out a maximum benefit, I don't see how that's equitable. I think what we need to realize is that the wealthiest people, they do pay a large number in tax, but it becomes a smaller portion of their wealth, which I'm totally okay with that. I'm pro wealth inequality. I'm absolutely in favor of wealth inequality because, you know, where you have wealth inequality is where you have large concentrations of wealth. And so if you wanted to shrink the gap between the wealthy and those that are not as well off, then typically you find that in societies where there's not a huge accumulation of wealth. This is a good sign. It's a positive sign when you see wealth inequality, quote unquote, what they would call inequality. And by the way, the
just remember, we're just talking income taxes. There's sales taxes, there's property taxes. So, and the rich are paying much more of that too. So I kind of agree with you on income taxes. We've gone through this before. I like your analysis about having skin in the game. You know, nobody likes to pay taxes.
So there's. Oh, I'm sorry, Jules. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, the people that earn less than like the poverty line, people underneath the poverty line, do you still think they should pay taxes?
Well, the answer should be yes, because they're receiving benefits regardless. They have a fire department, they have a police department, they have whatever, sanitation department. They should chip in for that. They're getting the benefits for that too. Maybe definitely on a smaller level, but I agree they should have some skin in the game. They're going to vote, and when people vote who have in a lower income bracket, they're going to vote for someone who says, no, you don't have to pay taxes. In fact, we'll give you a refundable credit. So the rich could pay, and that's just a talking point that Mojo and I have spoke about before. We both don't like it. It's not fair. But lower income earning people should get benefits too. And of course, the benefits are going to exceed what taxes they do pay, but they should pay taxes. Does that make sense? I mean, this is a society that's benefiting from monies the government spends that we contribute to. So everybody should pay their fair share of taxes. Go ahead.
I'd like to see us implement Milton Friedman's negative income tax. I think that would be beneficial for the country entirely, because what it does is it shifts off the non-working people. It eliminates the entitlements, and if you're working but you're making less than the poverty line, you get, or a certain livable wage amount. We'll say that, right? If you make less than that, then you get back in the income tax at the end of the year up to that amount, right? We're paying this. We're incentivizing people to work, but you have to work. You have to do 40 hours, and if your job is paying you too little to make up to that point, the government subsidizes that. But no entitlements; they're all gone, right? And if you get a promotion, it just that gap closes as you promote. So you're not being incentivized to stay in a welfare program like you are now, where if you make too much, you lose benefits, and then there's a gap there. It just slowly phases out until you make over that amount, and then you're just slowly moving up the food chain as you normally would. It incentivizes people to work. It incentivizes people to do better for themselves, instead of staying out of this poverty chain that we have right now. Now, there's one downside to it that needs to be worked out. I'm going to say it. The only criticism I have of it is you need to make sure that you have some method in place to make sure that these companies are not abusing that system and just paying everybody less than the poverty line, so that the government supplements that.
Yeah, I never liked Uncle Milty's proposal either. And governments, you say government subsidized, we are the ones subsidizing. I never liked the term government pays. Well, government doesn't. There's nothing that pays.
Right.
Right. The government. All right. So that's the point. But you talk about incentives to work. My God. We have to give incentive to work and earn a living and make money for yourself so you can live a certain lifestyle. No, you should have that built into yourself. Everybody should have the incentive to work.
But right now we have these policies in place, but they're getting free money and they're not being incentivized to work. They're just incentivized to leech off us.
That's right. It's our problem. Right.
This is what we need to eliminate. We need to make sure that, hey, you're working, or you might have a disability where you can't work, and that's a justification that can be considered work in a certain way. Even if you're a Walmart greeter, that's work. So like there's ways to work around that system to make sure it's beneficial to everybody. And then what happens is you see that happen. That increases. We have people working; they're not sitting on their ass. And then if they're working up the food chain, if they make more than the minimum amount, that we're putting into place here, I mean, at some point, these taxes will you'll see the decline or the need of taxes. Hopefully that would come back to this later on. But you see, your money is now being spent for more things that you want them to be spent for, and less of these individuals that are being lazy asses, etc.
Well, I think people should want to work. One thing I love about Trump's tariffs, if you don't get tariffed, if you have companies in the United States producing the product from whatever country. So to me, that is unbelievably great. It's creating tons of jobs in the United States, and we're going to have people working, contributing to society, contributing to get rid of that. Contributing to society, and that's the great thing about the tariff that people won't talk about right now. Tariffs are not inflationary like all the jackasses predict. It can have an inflationary spike here and there, but when things settle down, it's so pro-America, it's unbelievable, the money that's coming into our country. And so far I like it, and it's going to bring jobs. It's going to allow us to compete in other countries. It's going to benefit. It's really going to benefit the world. They're going to get the benefits of American production, American factories, whatever. God bless Trump. I mean, the way he looks at things economically, and today, I think if Trump's going to try and pull off. I'm surprised you guys aren't talking about today what Trump's trying to pull off. He will become one of the greatest presidents in our history, undeniable, if he can get a peace agreement between these two crazy countries, these two crazy people who favor war. And well, maybe it's just one. But if Trump could get an agreement there, and he's so smart, his agreement is not going to only be stop fighting. It's going to be how to divvy up the profits. That's what Trump does. He's gonna give a sweetener to Putin, which in a way I'm not crazy about, but I want peace, because that's like rewarding a person who's a maniac. But in the long run, Putin's going to have to stop. He can't keep this up. So Trump, in short, I know I'm talking a lot, he's really an economic president. He has economic genius in him. He's a brilliant guy. People who hate him will say he's not. But, I was involved in international taxes. There were some very complex areas I dealt in. I'm not going to get to it. But I heard Trump making a speech about it one day. I'm going, how the fuck did he know this? How did he, he just knew certain things that nobody knows. Certainly Biden did. Obama had intelligence, but he didn't. And the Bushes were the Bushes. Trump is really an unbelievable economic genius. And when you get him involved globally, he looks for deals that other people come out saying, hey, we gained also. And, getting peace, getting economic prosperity in the world, not only in the United States, is what he's shooting for. And I don't think there's anybody on the planet that could do what he's doing. And I hope he just broke his peace. All right, I think I spoke enough. Hey, Marshall, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Jules. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too. What do you say? Putin signs an agreement or agrees to ceasefire today? What do you think?
I think Putin is going to tell Trump that he's going to continue to take the Donbass. I don't think he's going to give that up, so we'll see.
So that means he's not going to agree to a ceasefire right now.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to agree. No.
Yeah, I think Putin called for this meeting, you know, so he has to call for the meeting and has to give something when you call for a meeting. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but you know, there's some sweeteners in it that Trump, like I said, that Trump's going to give him economically, and Russia needs it right now. They're a one-product country, and with Trump's third-party tariffs, that's going to kill him. That's going to really hurt. So he has to come to the table and realize he got to get what he can get, and then his economy could flourish. But you got to realize this. I know he's a maniac, so I don't know if he's going to. You know, that I think I'm 50-50 on this. I don't know. I would love to ceasefire for starters, and then get into the nitty-gritty. But that's step one. How did I get from income taxes to the war in Ukraine? But
well, I don't know. I would like Mojo's answer about the poorest among us paying income taxes. I agree. Like, I really did like the item in the Big Beautiful Bill that able-bodied adults from this age to this age who didn't have children should have 80 hours a month of some kind of work, charity work, volunteer work. I liked that. I thought that was good. Can someone tell me why an able-bodied person couldn't or shouldn't be required to do that?
They should work, you're right. But isn't it preferable for them to work on their own, that they want to work? I don't like the government forcing someone to work. But then again, I don't like the government paying someone not to work. So I have to lean on the side that you're saying, that they should work if they're capable, yes.
They're not saying they have to work in a coal mine. They're not saying they have to work picking up trash or cleaning out sewers. They're not they have incredible flexibility about where and when they work during the month. So I'm struggling to find a downside, and I haven't heard an argument yet where able-bodied adults who are living on government assistance can't give back to the community in some form or function.
The way you put it, there is no. You're 100% right. You can't be wrong the way you put it.
Oh, that's scary, Jules. I'm sure there's a hole somewhere.
No, you're asking for where the hole is, but I love the way you put it. You know, you not only have a good voice, you have a common sense good voice. You're right. You're contributing to society. We are a society. People are taxed too much now. We're giving more than we should be giving from our taxes, and we're not getting the benefits that we should be getting.
I'm not gonna lie though, Jules. I have, some girlfriends who have multiple kids, right? Not with multiple baby daddies. They're actually I know women who are, both parents are in a household, 4 or 5 kids, right? And these moms, man, the shit they do throughout the day blows my mind. Like, I don't think I saw her sit down once from like when she dropped her kids off at school, because she also has I think a 6-month-old baby, my little nephew. And I think, for some it's very hard to volunteer those extra 5 hours throughout the day. When your kids are at school, you're cleaning the house, you're making dinner, you're doing the laundry. So sometimes it is a little difficult for both people in the household to give those hours. Because, the dad's working and she's at home taking care of the house. So I feel like, it'll be a little hard when it comes to, people with bigger families or more kids.
Wait, I'm going to ask Monica something really quickly. Sorry, Jules, I'll make this really quick. Monica,
ahead,
are you asking about able-bodied Americans who collect benefits from the government?
Yeah, that's what I understood. People were saying, "Oh, they cut Medicaid and they cut Medicare. They cut." And from what I understood is they added requirements for those. And I look. Now I didn't do a deep dive. I was busy. I was distracted with a myriad of other things, likely Sydney Sweeney and blue jeans, but so irrelevant, fluffy things. But.
But here's my thing though, really quick, just to kind of, vibe with you on this. Here's my take on it. If they're able-bodied, meaning they're able to work, right? They have no medical reason or disability that prevents them from working. So they're able to work, yet they're collecting benefits from the government. And you're asking, why don't they give back to the community? And I'm thinking to myself, if these people don't even want, if they're unwilling to do for themselves, meaning just go out and get a job, right, without depending on government assistance, why would they help the community? They can't even do for themselves. That's how I look at it. I shouldn't say they can't. They're unwilling to do for themselves. They would rather have somebody take care of them, i.e. daddy government. And so I'm not sure that these people have the mindset to be motivated or inspired to give back or help their community. You see what I'm saying? I feel like there might be a little selfishness there. Like they feel they're entitled
that's
to the
it,
government.
I think.
Yeah.
Let me just jump in quickly. Pockets was talking about a married woman with children or a woman working with children. Either way, the woman working with children is filing a tax return, and the married woman, even if she doesn't work, she's filing a joint tax return. So I'm not talking about them. That's number one.
I'm not talking about married couples either.
Okay. So all right. So I'm talking about a woman who's working, you say. So she's.
No. I'm talking about a woman, because with Medicaid, they're gonna, the requirements they have for Medicaid now is that you have to put in 20 hours of work or volunteer work throughout the week to qualify for Medicaid if you're willing and able-bodied. So that's where I got to the point where women with multiple kids, mothers who are stay-at-home mothers, their Medicaid is going to get cut because they're not putting in those 20 hours of volunteer or work, but they're spending most of their days taking care of the household and the kids. So it gets, to me, that's where I'm like, this is going to be a little difficult, or it's going to have to be, some red tape's going to have to be cut for certain households.
Yeah.
But the ones who who don't have kids, who are just fucking soaking up these benefits that are really doing nothing with their fucking lives except getting unemployment and Medicaid. Yes, 100% kick them the fuck off. But put it to work.
Right, not contributing to society.
I don't understand. If you're a single mom and you have 5 kids and you're not married, where's your income coming from if you're not working?
So they live in the same household. Right, so in the eyes, I guess in certain states, it would be considered a common law there. So they live in the same household. So they're just not married. But you do not have to be married to be claiming each other's kids and to be getting Medicaid for your kids. You do not have to be married.
So you're questioning why we should require people able-bodied to work 80 hours a week. Because
20 hours of volunteer work or work if they have
80 hours a month. Sorry, 80 hours a month.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting or you're questioning why we should make them do that because there's a group of people who have a bunch of kids who are not married, who live in a household with men already working, and they might not might not be okay to force them to work. That's what you're suggesting, right?
Yeah, when it comes to stay-at-home moms who are not married or filing jointly, their Medicaid is going to be touched as well.
I mean, part of me wants to say it's a decision to have 5 kids, and if you can't work, if you don't have the energy to work in the first place, you shouldn't talk about 5 kids when you're not married. I mean, part of me, like at some point, we have to hold everybody individually responsible for their decisions and say, if you're going to accept money from the government, then you're going to put it into the system in a form of manual labor that equals your ability to do so, regardless of how much time you have on your hands or whether or not you have to take on a second job, i.e., the 20 hours a week in addition to your full-time job, which is taking care of your 5 kids that you chose to pump out without getting married to a guy that's in the house with you. Does that make sense? Like, I don't have much empathy or sympathy for that. I think that if they're able-bodied and they have 5 kids, that they should maybe be forced to do what everybody else has to do to survive, especially if they're taking money. First of all, why are they taking money from the government if they're in a house with a guy that's working anyway and they have 5 kids? Why is that happening?
Mike, what do you think? What do you think about a proposal that adjusts federal income tax based on obesity?
Damn.
I'm not saying this to be joking, but like you're clearly like if somebody is obese, they're going to have higher risk for heart disease or diabetes or any other of these types of comorbidities. And my question would be, if they're going to be the biggest drains on the system, not to mention, living a shorter life, which means being productive for a shorter period of time, wouldn't it make sense for us to consider establishing income tax rates based on your health?
Well, they should have to pay more in their health insurance based on their health, for sure. They should have to pay more based on their weight. If they're 600 pounds, their health insurance shouldn't be the same as somebody else's. But that reminds me of my idea about like airplanes. Like an airplane expends fuel to move a pound a certain amount of miles. So if you weigh 600 pounds, you instead of buying 2 seats, you should just get charged by the pound. So you just step on a scale and they see how much you weigh, and then they calculate that based on the fuel, and then that's what you pay for your flight. I mean, let's put them up against that too. Like realistically, yeah. I mean, I thought about that a long time ago, and I'm like, nobody would want to do it, but I don't really give a fuck. They weigh my luggage. Why does 10 pounds make a difference on my luggage if the chick next to me weighs 360 pounds?
So what should happen is you and your luggage should get on the scale.
Yes.
And the total is how they should do it.
100%. That way, if I want an 80-pound bag, I can pay the 30 pounds for that, but I don't have to pay for my weight.
So let's think about it this way. What if they just said, okay, you've got a 250-pound limit, right? And let's say you weigh 250 pounds, and let's say you have a 30-pound bag. Well, then you got to pay for the 30-pound bag. But if you weighed 150, right? If you weighed 150, you could bring a 100-pound bag and still meet the 250. 100%. Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about making them buy 2 seats. Like if they pay twice or 3 times as much as a normal person, they get the amount of seats they need to fit their fat ass in safely. If it's 2, then it's 2, but it's not 2 because a fat person buys 2. It's 2 because the person weighs enough. Because the shape of the person requires the 2, but they're going to pay for it anyway because they're being charged what they weigh. You know what I would do? I would come out of retirement and work at the airport and just be the person at the line that where you could just make a visual observation, where you could just say, okay, you guys are fine. You could go in through this entrance. And then if the people that look like them and their bag might be more than 250, then you put them through the scale line.
Exactly. Yeah. Like. It's basically it'll basically be a fat line and a regular line, but we won't call it that. We'll just base it on the 250 pounds.
And then some people, their weight is distributed differently, so I think we should weigh all women.
Well, I think it would be great that I think it would be fair to weigh everybody, because usually men who are tall, have a lot of muscle mass, walking around the world, have a lot more privilege. They just do.
Have you ever noticed women with big titties, that they're just heavier than women with small titties?
So would you be offended if you had to pay more money than the lady who's sitting next to you?
No, look. If I flew to a toy convention and then I flew back and my bags were filled with toys that I purchased, I should have to pay for that.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing inherently unfair about getting on a scale with your luggage and paying based on what you weigh. That seems completely fair. To be honest,
yeah, and the reason, Mike, you already said it. The reason is because the airline itself has to adjust fuel costs based on the weight, which is the reason they charge you for the bags.
Right, but they try to, yes, exactly. And there's this whole, and they've already tried to make two fat people buy two seats, and that always becomes an issue. They always resist, or they say it's prejudice or whatever. This would solve it. It's like, yeah, I mean, you're wide, you need two seats, but you also weigh 600 pounds, and your ticket is 3 times more than the 200-pound guy. So you get 2 seats.
Can I just point out?
They'd actually benefit. They'd actually make out of that.
Hold on. In the chat, Regan Michelle says, brain rot conversation. Listen, the only reason why somebody would say this, hey, why are you know where you're going with this? Why are you going with it? The only reason somebody would not like this conversation or believe that it's reasonable is if they suspect that they might be over the 250-pound limit. Listen, nobody got offended that weighs 100 pounds. Nobody got offended by that. Most people are just saying, that seems reasonable. It only seems unreasonable to the fatties. The other solution is to just say, hey, look, you're going to be too much of a drain on this particular plane ride, and so no, we can't do. We can't put you on this plane. Maybe you'll get an Amtrak ticket.
So if I weigh 150 pounds and my bag is 30 pounds, can I bring my 125-pound llama? It's an emotional support llama, mind you, but can I bring that along and just pay the difference?
If you have a 25-pound llama,
the problem with that becomes storage, because there is a space component to this. Where would it be? I would say that if you have an alpaca or a llama, you probably could bring them, but I would recommend that you'd have to pay for a second seat just because of the space that it would take up, not about the weight.
What about a koala?
I'm an ambassador of the big back community, and I propose that us bigger people, we get our own airline. Or our own section, because if we're going to have to pay more to fly, then obviously, we need more space. So therefore, we get more room, we get the space we need, and y'all can be cranked up in the little seat. That sounds like glorious to me.
Well, you already get that. You just flip up the armrest and you take 2 seats like you already do. I'm not going to give you more leg space. I mean, I'm 6'3", I want more leg space, and I'm not fat. So it doesn't mean you're going to get more leg space because you're big, but you can flip up the armrest and get 2 seats.
Yeah, hey, I want to bring something up, and I'm only going to bring it up briefly, and I don't want to make this a big deal, but there was a room the other night, and when I went to sleep, there was people left modded, and in that room, there was some doxing that took place. And really it's just some rude behavior. And I've heard about this from multiple people. I'm not even going to call out the people by name, but let me just say that should you find yourself at the end of a long day getting a mod badge in a particular room, whether it's this room or anywhere else, it's probably not a wise thing to participate in a conversation about doxing other people. A, it's a dangerous practice. B, it's a violation of the house rules here. And C, it just, once people recognize that you're participating in that, then they'll take defensive measures. And I know a lot of people might block those people because they deem them as a doxer. So again, that's the last word I'll say on it. I don't really need to open that up for discussion. I just wanted to say those words out loud for whom it may concern.
So can we get a reset?
Why are the gays always asking for a reset?
Oh my God! Not everything is about faggotry. Let's put the faggotry down for a second and focus on the conversation, Roger.
I think with my allyship, if you look at my PTR, I am showing strong allyship. I can talk to the gays how I wish.
Okay, I'll give that a pass for this Friday.
Thank you. Mojo is the gayest. No objection. Mojo is the gayest.
So I got a little campaign update. This is kind of an interesting exercise. If you ask Grok to identify the top 25 profiles in, say, Rockford and Peoria, Illinois, that are politically conservative or active or might be interested in supporting the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover, so it identifies all the profiles. Now I'm following up in the Grok reply, tagging them and asking all these individuals who are geographically located if they'd be interested in signing a petition to elect fiscal conservative John Kitover. So this is one quick way how to find voters in the 16th district.
Oh, isn't it a great time for a reset?
Yes. They were just discussing how when you go and fly on airplanes, they should be charging people based on the weight of themselves and their luggage instead of, the whole 1 seat, 2 seat thing.
Thank you, Senator. You the best.
And Mojo suggested that all women be weighed, and women with big tits tend to be bigger than women with smaller tits. So all women should be weighed for tax purposes.
What if we taxed women based on bra and panty size?
I would definitely get those puppies cut off.
Go into a surgeon and ask them for a tax reduction?
Exactly.
A mastectomy might help with the flight thing too, because you could shave off a little bit of the weight. All the women will go get mastectomies, and none of us will have boobs anymore. It'll be great.
I'm cutting my titties off, ladies. Do you for them tax deductions? But yeah, we'll just go ahead and pay them taxes.
Well, maybe you could get a tax sponsor. If you could get with a guy that likes them big old titties and just have him sponsor your tax.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it to sound whorish, but that's exactly what I was thinking. Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd cut out, but I like how everyone assumes smaller titties means less tax. I think it should be more.
Well, no, we're trying to tax by the pound, and I think the easiest way to assess that would be on boob size. I mean, it's unnecessary fat kept in the upper region. Anything more than a mouthful is a waste.
I think airlines should deduct the weight of the boobs. We should weigh each boob as well, and then we deduct that from the overweight of the girl in order to disincentivize women small breasts on purpose. Like, we don't want women getting breast reductions just so they get cheap fights. Like, maybe it's almost like a write-off. Like, we should write their boob off.
Or what if you're a big girl and you get a special where you can bring your flat-chested friend and flat-chested women fly free, kind of like the bags.
Yes, yeah, I like that.
You know what?
Coming from the chairman of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, I support everything you guys.
I think this might be cultural because I feel of like men of color want some titties in their life. And no disrespect to the white dudes, but yeah, y'all tend to like them real slim and no titties, no ass, no thighs. So yeah, I guess it makes sense.
So now,
Go into a room with some black dudes, they would disagree.
But now here's the thing: the people that like big titties and small, tight little pussies, it's because they have big mouths and tiny penises. Like if you have a big penis, you probably don't want that.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but it's kind of foul and explicit. So yeah, that part.
It's Friday. We'll allow it.
Yeah, I can't even say it because it's okay. The guys packing, generally not all, they want some titties because then you can do things with them titties. You can motorboat, you can titty fuck. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to the guys that like titties. You know, you dig?
I've been very blessed to sometimes I get real jealous. I'm like, damn, I want some big old things. Like I really want that shit so bad. But then other days I look at my friends and they're like, my fucking back hurts. When they run, that shit hurts. I'm like, okay. There's some like positives and shit and negatives to both sides. But I wish for big old bitties all the time. My mom got hers done as well. We just come from a little itty bitty family.
Well, Nye, what about us mid-tier cocks? Like, where do we fit into this whole thing? Like, we're not like, like Asian deficient cock size, and we don't have the brother man tubu coo problems. Like, what about those that are just, we're like the Goldilocks of cocks. We're just right.
Listen, as long as a man knows what to do with his cock, it's all good. The size really doesn't matter. As long as he just knows how to work it out and he's creative with it,
Reach.
Yeah, that's all that really matters. But if some titties, if a little extra titty meat scares him, I don't know. That sounds like, he might have to work on that. And I would encourage that guy to stay with the itty bitty titty committee. Don't deal with the big titty girls.
So we need to have this conversation, right? So, because there's fat girls and then there's thick girls. And some people get confused on what a fat girl and what a thick girl are. And, we could describe what a thick girl is, but just understand, you will not get called thick if you have an ugly face. In order to be considered thick, you have to have a pretty face and then have those dimensions that people might say is thick. But if you're ugly and you have that same exact frame, people are just going to say you're fat. And so the line oftentimes between thick and fat has to do with how pretty their face is.
I don't think I'll argue that. I hadn't really thought about that. That's something to think about, things that make you go, But I suppose so, from a man's point of view. And if I were a lesbian, I suppose I would look for pretty face girls if she was a little bit on the chunkier side. Yeah, she would have to have a cute face. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
I think I know a lot of thick, ugly people, so I would disagree.
Yeah, but you got.
Honestly, I think thickness makes girls prettier.
Wait, hold on. Hey, Kima, your vote really doesn't matter here because you are not very picky when it comes to women. You've went and had 11 children with 17 women. Like, this is like, it's a feat that nobody would vote.
Yeah,
how does that mean I'm not picky? I'm not confused.
You'll fuck anything, is my point.
No, every one of my baby mothers are beautiful women.
Would you fuck a female gorilla?
I don't know. What are you talking about? I won't even answer that.
I want to hear from Trillian. Trillian is one of my favorite blacks on the entire planet, on the entire app. Trillian, tell me what your thoughts are.
Well, thank you, and you're one of my faves too. Blacks, it depends on the photo, and then other. I guess now you're in the other face. To medium-sized dicks, absolutely. I like the story that I read, Goldilocks and the Three Dicks. One was just right, absolutely. Why do I need a huge monster cock pounding me? I feel like the only women who like that have been abused as children, and I hope they heal. As far as being thick, I'll be honest, I don't like being thick. PTR picture of my body for reference, because I notice it attracts a lot of poor black men, and I don't care how that sounds. I don't want poor black men looking at me, because they think I have snacks and food, and I'm cooking home-cooked meal.
Can't make this shit
Not
up.
for you,
It's
nigga.
so funny.
But
hold on.
Yeah.
Somebody read rule number 7 to Trillian.
No use of the N or K word.
I don't know what the K one is, but there's still time for me to figure it out. That's fine. But anyway, I've been working out though, I will say. So I've lost 30 pounds. I feel like I want to lose 60 more.
Get it, girl. You know, one of the best ways to lose weight is to shake that thing.
So I also second Trillian. I think that there is a certain point in penis size where it's just too much. Like I had this guy come over, he had a 10-inch dick, and I was trying to suck his 10-inch dick, and my jaw for 3 days hurt like a bitch. Like, that was not a fun experience for me. I'm never doing that shit again. If I see another 10-inch dick, I'm sending it home, because this is not going anywhere near me.
And like, just really quick, I just want to say one more thing, because I like anal sex, so I'm not putting that dick in my ass.
Wow.
Especially if your mother's been sitting on it.
Hold on. I'm going to unfollow you just so I can refollow you for that comment. That's amazing. I also want to just give a warning. If Scarlett returns to the room, we have to change the subject immediately.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. There's no fucking way we have this conversation in her
Ah,
presence.
dude, we gotta bring the freak out of her, man. Come on.
Nope.
I know she's weird, dude. I know.
Pockets, I've had the same feeling underneath it all.
Yes,
Like it's always the quiet one.
Listen.
Listen.
I know women don't like listening, but I'm telling you, this is one that I'm fucking 100% right on. Listen, there are not a lot of classy women on this app, right? There's not a lot of them. She's the classiest. So we don't talk like this in front of her.
No, I'm gonna message her right now. Do you like anal? I'm gonna message her right now.
Don't do that.
What you don't get to hear, like with our friends, we get to hear the things
This
you
is
don't get to hear.
the Final Mojo experience. Super positive vibration, part 1.
Wait, hold